I only live one way. That's Monday through Sunday. What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. Freestyle. Got to get it started off right with the lemonade freestyle from my brother to RP to my guy, man. But this NBA Talk with Jay, 2 games today, man. I'm your host, Jay Money. We have our guy with us, man. Everybody on the channel loves, man, my guy Ronald Cabang. We love when you come on the show, my guy. People been asking for you, man. How you doing?
Appreciate it. Yeah, no, man. I was talking to you right before the show, and NBA is starting to really come together with all the trends and all the analytics that we normally look at, right? I forgot who I was talking to, but like early on in the season, I was saying like we were cashing early on the season because nobody had data, right? So all the sharps really had had an edge on the books, and then once the book started to adjust, we had to adjust at the same time, and now we're doing it again in the third phase where we're actually getting a lot more data for in-season trends and analytics. So that was pretty dope. 4-2 day yesterday in the NBA. The totals beat me up, but the spreads were on point. So hopefully we just continue going in that direction as far as just cashing tickets here.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah, usually I know I'm usually just kind of trading water right now. I usually kind of really come into my own late January, early February. I really start to go into the run, really into playoffs as well, guys.
Yeah,
So usually, but I can't say it's been a better season because usually, like up until now, I won't be doing so well. But I'm basically, you know what I'm saying, basically trading water, basically even up a few units. basically on the season. This one got stacked up some nice cash yesterday with the Cavs. It was a little bit too close for comfort there, Ronald, but we did get the cash. In that one, man. But let's get straight to it, man. We only have 2 games here today on the card, but let's get straight to it here, my guy Ronald. Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans here, man. We have the Pelicans laying 8.5 points at the house versus the Spurs. No Zion, no Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans, but for the Spurs, they're still without Keldon Johnson as well. They have been playing some better basketball here of late, Ronald. Even though they've been losing, they still have at least shown ever since Pop came back and started back coaching the team. They've been playing a little bit better basketball. Offense is very fluent as well. Pelicans, they have a really good defense. Their offense has really dropped off the cliff, right, Ronald? Yeah. So they come back home here. They off 4 straight losses, off that loss versus the Bucks as well. Do you think the Pelicans can get right here, my guy?
I think so. To me, obviously, Zion being out is going to be a big hit to them, but I think they have they have the roster to be able to stay with this Spurs team. Obviously, one of the lower tier teams in the league. They have looked better. They are coming off of that win over the Rockets, and that's when you want to take them, right? They're at a high here. They just came off a win, so you want to go against them in this spot. I think I can only look towards the Pelicans in this one. One way that I was looking at it was actually towards that first quarter over, because their defensive rating on the road in the first quarter is actually 28th in the league. Their net rating in that quarter is minus 16.5. So most of that is due to their defense, 29th in the league in defensive rating in that spot. If you combine the scores together on the road, they're averaging 60.8 points per game on the road, and the first quarter total is at 58.5. So there's a little bit of value there. If you look at the Pelican side, I know they're not going to be without Zion, but they still have, I think they still have a decent enough offense between McCollum and Valanciunas here to get it done, to get over the 58.5. Because when I looked at them in their first quarter at home, they're averaging 59.2. There's a little bit of value there, right? Because the number is 58.5. But if they're facing a team that is rested with two plus days of rest, the average combined score is 63.6 points per game. They won and covered all 3 of those games as well. So that's another way to look at the Pelicans. From a prop perspective, one of the key components obviously is Keldon Johnson being out, right? Keldon Johnson being out. And I looked at Devin Vassell points and threes. So in the 2 games without Keldon Johnson this season, he hit for 29 points and 4 threes. And then the next game, 26 points and 5 threes, and that goes over both of the numbers today, because his numbers are 21.5 today, and then 3.5, and the 3.5 threes is actually plus 130. So you're getting some good positive plus money there as far as that goes. And then we talked about before the show too, Jay's the point guard position over in the Pelican side. They don't really have a true point guard, and in most recent games they were really running through Zion to really be the focal point of that offense and even being the distributor, right? Now with him gone, I think a lot of that goes to CJ McCollum, and his assist prop is juiced right now at 6.5. But if you get 7.5, it's around even money. So I would look towards CJ assists more than points in this spot, because
Yeah.
if he's going to be the focal point of the offense scoring wise, they're going to probably run to him to play, to maybe like try to stop him from scoring, and that'll give him opportunities to distribute. So that's the way that I would look in that one.
Exactly. Now, you know what's crazy, bro? The Spurs are 7-0 against the spread last 7 in New Orleans as well. And
That's
they
crazy.
do have double revenge in theory. I know both games for sure that Zion smoked them in both games. You know what I'm saying? So they don't necessarily have to deal with them in this one. This is a tough game for me, man. I'm not betting anything here. I definitely understand that McCollum assists, right? They were without basically their two other ball handlers in the starting lineup, Brandon Ingram and Zion Wilson. So the McCollum's going to have this ball in his hands a ton tonight. He will be the main distributor as well. He probably might have 10 assists tonight. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. So over 7.5 assists, and even I don't like laying juice on them props, man. It's just something I can't stand, man. But I'd look at over 7.5 at even money for CJ McCollum assist in this one. That's the only way. That's
he actually
prop that I
Jay,
could like quick, to hit.
Yeah, real quick on that 7.5 at even money. He's actually hit at least 8 in 4 of the games that Zion didn't play this season. And there, I think there was 5 total games that I'm counting here. So 4 out of 5 he hit 8+. So that even money at 7.5, I think, is a good look.
Exactly. No, that's a good point there. Yeah, the Spurs, they're what, 4-2 against the spread last 6 games. It's kind of crazy. It is a first game of a back-to-back. They have Orlando on deck tomorrow. But with that double revenge, I'm already getting smoked by the Pelicans already this time this year. The Pelicans should bounce back here, but I don't know if I want to necessarily lay 8.5, especially without Zion Wilson as well, with how he's been feasting inside here. So CJ McCollum over 7.5 assists should win in that one. Would like to lean both teams have a game tomorrow. So the Pelicans play OKC tomorrow. So I kind of would like to lean Spurs here plus the 8.5. If I was playing this game on the side, it would be Spurs plus the 8.5. That's not enough to go and lay my hard-earned money with, though.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff going towards both sides. It's really hard to do. So that's why I really focused on the props in this one.
Exactly. Yeah, that Spurs 7-0 against the spread, last 7 in New Orleans. Maybe they you never know. Maybe they got a seafood spot or something they like to go to, and you know what I'm saying, go down there and cash, man. Something's up with that. 7-0 against the spread last 7. There's something up with that, man. So lean Spurs in that one, my guys. Last game up, we're going to the streets of Utah here. We have the Jazz land 6 points at the house versus the Washington Wizards. Wizards starting to play some better basketball here, Ronald. This is the 5th game on this road trip. They have a game tomorrow as well. So this is probably the last. This is the Wizards' probably a chance. They might try to go for the win tonight and probably rest some guys tomorrow. Porzingis is still questionable here, Ronald. You got Kyle Kuzma going back to the streets of Utah where he played his college ball at. I'd be looking at some Kyle Kuzma 3-point makes over 2.5 minus 110. I know he's attempted 9 and 10 the last few games. So I know a lot of people like to come over, like say, oh, he's got this so-and-so games. I like to look at attempts, especially like with the 3-point made, because as long as the volume is there, right, that's what I feel like you want to look at. So make Kyle Kuzma threes in this one. Would like to lean towards Wizards and team total over as well. What do you think about this spot for the Jazz coming home off a little 3-game road trip, Ronald?
Yeah, we always talk about this too on your show, like first game home off the road trip, especially if it's like 3 or more. we like to look towards the other way for the most part in that spot. The other thing too, the Wizards, they've been playing better because Beal came back. They actually covered both games that Beal came back in. The other thing too is this is obviously the fifth game of the 6-game road trip on the West Coast, but Beal was only has only played the last 2 games, so he has been a little bit rested. Some of the other guys who've been questionable and all that stuff in the last few games as well, they should have some legs under them coming back in this one. I know Porzingis I think is a key here because he's questionable at the moment. But if he's able to play, I can only look towards the Wizards as well. This is the first leg of back-to-back games, but I feel like this is a spot where they're kind of picking up some momentum before they head home. And then on the opposite side, the Jazz here, they're coming off of a win over the Pistons, but they were, I don't think there's a lot to say about that game because they won by double digits as 2.5 point favorites. But for some reason, if I'm looking at their schedule, right, this is a 1 game homestand between
Mm-hmm.
2 3 game road trips, and those are those 1 game homestands are the ones that I like to fade as well, because they gotta go, they gotta travel again the next day. This is
Exactly.
also the 3rd game in 4 nights, so I think their travel schedule is actually a lot worse than the Wizards, because they've already been on the West Coast for a while. So that's the way that I like to look at it, as well as
Mm-hmm.
Olynyk is out as well. And one thing that I looked at was marketing props when Olynyk is out, and he's gone over his point total twice with him out. And also looking at their matchups against the Pelicans, Markkinen has gone 31 against them twice so far this season. And the game that he went under at only 19 points, he only had 2 free throw attempts that game. So for me, I would look towards Markkinen over his point props. A lot of points in this game. I feel like it should be an over game, like you mentioned, but for the most part, I think Beal has been a sort of that momentum shifter for them, and I think it continues in that direction. So I'll look towards the Wizards plus the points, probably the over. I like the marketing points over as well. I think he's going to be the guy that has the volume there. I think Beal is going to continue to rack up points as well. I believe it's 10 out of the last 11 games that he played fully. He's gone over 23.5 points, which is where I think the point props is today. So I would look towards that as well.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like I say, me personally, Kuzma over 2.5 threes. I mean, I know Clarkson, his threes could be there as well. So, a few players that I'd be looking at their props in this game. Obviously, it's a new age NBA. There'll be a lot of threes shot in this game as well. Obviously, Kuzma will be a lot better if Porzingis sits, because that's maybe the reason why he shot so many the last few games. But still, even with Porzingis in there, Kuzma is auditioning for teams right now, guys. Like this is what I've been saying. He's trying to get traded. He's playing some of his best basketball right now. Some somewhat selfish ball as well. If Kuzma's getting the ball in the wing, he's shooting 3. Don't be surprised if he shoots 7, 8 threes tonight. But on their side, I'd be looking at Kuzma threes. Beal points is sitting at 23.5. He's been going bunkers. He looks like he's healthy and wants to play right now. So couldn't talk you. I'd be leaning Beal points over, Kuzma over 2.5 threes, minus 110. On the Jazz side, Clarkson threes. What is Conley? Conley be popping them threes too, man. He'll go over there to that wing, be trying to pop them threes, my guys. But
Yeah. I think
Clarkson
when I
is the
seen his points
guy.
was 10.5.
Yeah. I was just saying the threes though, but
The threes.
I'd
Okay,
like
gotcha.
what you think about Wizards team total over 112 in this one. They've hit that the last couple of times. The Jazz defense has somewhat been a little leaky. They allowed 111 to the Pistons. You see what I'm saying? The Pistons don't have the greatest offense, so Wizards have a lot. I know that was on the road, but Wizards have in theory a lot more potent offense. That team total sitting at 112. What you think about that, Ronald?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was looking at their defensive rating, the Jazz defensive rating specifically at home, 21st in the league there, and then their pace is actually 5th. So you have bad defense and a fast pace. That's the way that I like looking at overs. As long as those two things match up, bad defense, high pace, it has to be a look towards the over. And then after that you want to look at how the opponent is doing. And I think because the Wizards were on this long losing streak and they're finally getting the dubs, I think they haven't really adjusted the point totals and all that stuff for the Wizards yet. And it's only the 3rd game back for Beal as well. So I just feel like they gradually adjust these lines, and they haven't really met the target yet. So I think the Wizards probably still undervalued at this point. And you always for me, I don't like the Jazz as favorites. I think a lot of the trends point towards fading the Jazz, especially as home favorites. They're 1-6 against the spread as home favorites on lower totals. I think the total today is under 225. Can't remember exactly
It's
what the
230.
Sorry, 230. So under 230. 230 and under, they're 1-6 ATS in that spot. So a lot of things towards those lower numbers. A lot of their totals have been over 230 because of their high pace and bad defense. But this one here, under 230 or under, they haven't been failing to cover in that spot.
Got you. No, that's definitely a good point. Yeah, and I don't think they do well versus the East as well at the house. They really try to ball out versus the Western Conference as well, my guys. So that's a good points there. My guy Mark in the chat saying he likes Jazz Wizards over 228.5 and Wizards team total over 111.5 as well. And I can tell you this right now, guys, if Porzingis does come back, that team total is definitely going to go up as well, my guys. So yeah, probably want to wait for Porzingis. He's been questionable like a little illness or whatever. if he does play, I think the Wizards might have a strong chance of covering this game, but even more stronger chance for it to be a more faster pace for them to get over that 112 tonight, my guys. Could definitely see a faster pace game in this one,
Yeah.
man. Let's go ahead and get out of here, Ronald. Let's go ahead and talk about some free picks, my guys. Ronald, let the people know what you got going over at Sports Memo and let them know anything you liking on these two games tonight, my brother.
Yeah, today as far as like sides and totals, I'm not too sure I'm gonna get to the window with it. It's just two kind of ugly games here, but I do like some props here, and for me, I think I'm gonna be looking towards Vassell for the most part. Points and threes there. I think a lot of things are telling me that that game's gonna be high pace. I don't know if they're gonna go over the total for the full game, but I do know Vassell is gonna have the usage and the volume to be able to get over 21 and a half points and over 3.5 threes. He's done it before, especially with Keldon Johnson out. So that would be the way that I go as far as the best plays today is Vassell over points and over threes. But definitely look towards McCollum assists. I like also marking in points as well. And then on the sides, I would lean towards the Wizards there, and also lean towards the Pelicans. I know you lean towards the other way there. I don't think I'm gonna get to the window with it. It's just the way that I'm looking.
I'm not betting this shit, bro. I'll be honest. I mean, these are two uninspiring games for me, guys. I'm already on tomorrow's slate. I'm trying to find some cash for tomorrow. Some good spots out there, some numbers starting to come out. So I'm already looking towards tomorrow. If I'm looking at some today, I would lean both dogs, both road dogs. It's not something strong enough to bet, but with the Spurs being 7-0 against the spread last 7 in New Orleans, and with the double revenge spot, and the Pelicans not playing their best basketball right now, in my opinion. So I think they might get the win, but I think 8.5 is too many. It's definitely too many for me to lay personally. So I lean Spurs plus the 8.5. And that one, I do like that McCollum assist as well at the 7.5. He should get double-digit assists in this one. And on that Wizards game, keeping an eye out for Porzingis, regardless if him in or out. I'd lean Wizards. I'd lean Wizards team total over. And on the Jazz, and I'd lean Kuzma over 2.5 threes. On the other side, Clarkson over 2.5 threes could not talk you off. And marketing, he's a beast. You can't stop marketing. You can only contain him. So Laurie Marketing can never talk you off some props with him as well, my guys. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you'd like to get a shirt, you can get 50% off over at the website, jmoneyismoney.com. Use promo code XMAS, XMAS, my guys, for 50% off over at the website. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Go follow us on Twitter as well. You can follow my guy Ronald at @U_Capper. You can follow me as well at jmoneyismoney. It's Us Against the Bookies, my guys. Let's get some cash. We're back tomorrow.